Pascagoula-Gautier Board of Trustees to order. Ms. Rubenat, please make note that we have all 5 board members present. Just in time. And we need to approve the agenda. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Johnson.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Irving. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, well, I'm doing the same thing I did last meeting there. I got a little ahead of myself. So what we need to do, we need to start off, we're going to have to back up a little bit, and we need to have the presentation of the colors by the Gautier JROTC. And after immediately following that, we'll have the pledge by Mr. Taylor. And Mr. Johnson will get, well, let me back up again and get that order. We have the prayer by Mr. Johnson, then the pledge by Mr. Taylor. Please forgive me if we get you a little out of order there. I don't have the young man like the rest of these board members have. Okay, Mr. Dawson, we have a presentation of the convocation.
Yes, we didn't have all of our board members present at the convocation. We released a compilation video, very short. It's about 2 minutes long, just kind of give you an overview of the type of rally that we have every single year. It's by no means everything that we do. There's great stories within there. We've released our achievements PowerPoint. Our first PowerPoint have all been released. This presentation you're about to see has been viewed by over 15,000 people. It's been shared with the Ryan Clark Academy. It's been all over the country. The other 2 releases, we did automated PowerPoints that have been released across all social media. They've each had 2,000. And then, of course, we had our first day of school walk through the district. That's had 5,000 views when we went to every classroom. But today we're just going to share with you briefly our convocation event. That we had earlier this school year. Great celebration. All of our folks really enjoy doing that every year, and each year we come up with a new theme. So we wanted to share that with you first. Secondly, we want to share the Bridge Academy's presentation from Dr. D'Angelo and Mr. Reed. They've been working on this now for several years since we started it.
But before we get into Bridge Academies, can I make a couple comments?
Sure.
first, I'm excited about the new school year. I thought the convocation video was very well done. I don't know who actually did the somewhat Disney World thing, but I thought it was excellent. And I've heard good feedback. I'm not very active on social media, but I thought that it was just excellent. Very, very well done. I've also heard recently, I want to brag, so just bear with me for a minute. I want to brag on the school district a little bit. Some people approached me recently and said our niche.com rankings were up. And most of you many of you may not know what niche.com is. But if you Google best school in Mississippi or best schools in Jackson County, then the accountability ratings don't come up. You have to look to find the accountability ratings. You have to go searching for them. What comes up is the U.S. News and World Report, what those rankings are. That's the first thing that comes up. If a person's moving to Jackson County and they just Google best school in Jackson County, best school in Mississippi, first thing that comes up is this U.S. News and World Report. The second thing that comes up is niche.com. And niche.com ratings came out. And I just want to tick off. I mean, I just Googled it today because people told me that these things were coming out. And I just want to brag on a few things. According to niche.com, we are the #1 best place to teach in Jackson County. We're the #1 safest school district in Jackson County. Gautier High School is the #2 high school in the state of Mississippi.
Chomp, chomp, baby, watch out once.
That's according to niche.com. According to the U.S. News and World Report, they are the #17 top high school in the state of Mississippi. There's 244 high schools ranked in the U.S. News and World Report. They're ranked higher. Gautier is ranked higher than Brandon, ranked higher than Northwest Rankin, ranked higher than Madison Central, ranked higher than Clinton, ranked higher than Long Beach, ranked higher than Germantown, ranked higher than South Haven, and Pascagoula, #3 high school in the state of Mississippi, according to niche.com. Beach Elementary, #2 elementary school. East Lawn, #3 elementary school. Lake, #4 elementary school in the state of Mississippi. Every elementary school in the entire district is either an A or a B+ school if you look at niche.com. And I know our accountability ratings come out in October, but and I don't know if it's next meeting or October meeting, but at some point in time I would just like to hear from Debbie or whoever it is about what our plan is to kind of get this message out, get the word out about how we can brag on our school district. Because I think there's a lot of good things happening in the district. I think the convocation video was an excellent job by the administration, by the team to show enthusiasm. But there's quite frankly, in today's day and age, millennials or whatever generations below millennials that are having kids now, I don't know whatever it is. A lot of people just Google what is the best school, and this is what comes up. And I think we need to tell people because not only are we competitive, we are considered the best in many rankings, and I drive by Gautier High School every day, and so do all these people that go to Ingalls, and so do all these people that are living outside of Gautier, and they don't know that according to niche.com, Gautier is the second best high school in the state of Mississippi. And so anyway, it's just I just wanted to brag on the school district a little bit, and also just I'd like to see a kind of a plan or a presentation at some point, maybe next meeting or the meeting after, about how we can go about bragging on some of these things. But thank you all.
Thanks a lot for those comments, Mr. Taylor and McNeil, Mr. McNeil. But I also sent that email. I have a cousin that teaches in Illinois, and I send these to her each year, and she thinks Pascagoula just catch me out. And I mean, they have very good school systems up there. So thanks again, Mr. McNeil. Mr. Reed.
Okay, well, good evening. I'm Melissa D'Angelo, and I serve as the Director of English Language Education, and I'm also the central office contact for the Career Academies, the Bridge Academies, and this is Mr. Derek Reed. He is the Career Academy Specialist, and he's also the CTE Counselor. Let's start with that. So I'm going to start by sharing a bit of the history as to why the Bridge Academy logo looks as it does. For some of you, this may be a refresher. For others, this may be new information. So everything that we have done to come up with this design has been student-driven and student-led. The students have selected, have organized, they've developed, and they've voted. So everything that we are presenting to you has been student-driven. We have a Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, and this started in 2017, almost said 7, where 65 students were brought in, grades 6 through 12, And they were given a task to organize and develop career academies. This is when the idea was still fresh and new. And they did so. Then we moved into the year 2018-2019 school year, and another new set, 65 new students came in, grades 6 through 12, and they were given a task to name the academies, name the career academies, which they came up with the Bridge Academies, and to develop a logo. That was their task. We knew that it was important to involve the parents, the faculty, and the community members in this decision, so we utilized our Parent Advisory Committee, which is one parent from each of the 19 schools, our Faculty Advisory, which is a faculty member from each of the 19 schools, and they also serve as community members, and they were given opportunities to provide their input and to vote with the options that were given to them from the Student Advisory, and hence the Bridge Academies is what won the vote. So we're here today, 2 years later, 9 student-driven meetings later, and the input from 160 students, faculty members, parents, and community members to present to you this Bridge Academy logo. The color concept I know has come into question, and again, being that it came from the students' decision, I wanted to share that during the student advisory, the students were tired of the division between Pascagoula and Gautier. Hence the Bridge Academies. They wanted connection, they wanted inclusion. It was their idea to combine the colors, and you see the color combination of purple, which is the red and the blue, and the green, which is the blue and the yellow. So Hummingbird, which I will get to, came up with different designs for them to vote on, and again, this is the logo in which they voted on. Something that I found in one of the pieces of paperwork that a student turned in, they wanted a unified set of colors that intertwine the spirit of Gautier with the spirit of Pascagoula, and I thought that was very special. The 4 academies that you see, again, the students selected those 4 academies. They organized which programs we provide into those academies. And I know that one question that came up was, what if we provide more courses? What if we provide more programs? If another pathway, if we decide to go with another pathway, we would add that to one of the 4 existing academies. If you have any questions about academies, though, I do have Mr. Reed, who has been here since the beginning, who can answer any questions that you may have. I'm going to slow down my speech. I talk really fast. So Hummingbird was brought in to help the students organize and narrow down their ideas. They helped the students bring to fruition their ideas by creating these graphic logos for them to see what it is that they want and to vote on what it is that they want. They've also created the video that we're about to see. What I would like for you to look for is the Bridge Academy's logo in the video, as well as the individual academy logos as the courses come across the screen.
One reason that we're making the move from the current model to the career academy model is because there are so many benefits for our students. That when we sat down and started weighing the pros and cons, all of the pros were for the students.
Our program actually offers now 4 college opportunities based on the engineering classes that they take. If the students make a 80 or higher in class and score a proficient or higher on their end-of-course assessment, Mississippi State University will be offering them 1-hour credit for each one of those classes. So that means they get to go in their freshman year with 4 hours of engineering credit.
I think the hands-on part is the best aspect of our class. It's not that traditional, let me teach it out of the book. Yes, we do the reading, we gotta learn, but the hands-on lets them know that's what I want to do. They're actually doing what they've read about.
We were seeing students that would go away to college, take maybe 5, 6 years for a 4-year degree, either end up majoring in something that they wanted to major in and taking 6 years, or after 5, 6 years, coming back getting a trades degree or a 2-year associate degree on top of what they already have, just to do something different. And we started thinking about our focus and how we get students thinking more about careers early instead of costing them either student loans, their parents a lot of money, or both.
Does the board member have any comments or questions?
like to do those.
I got a couple of comments. On the video, I think it might be helpful if we explained a little bit more about what the Bridge Academies is. What is it? You know, in 15 seconds or less. What is the Bridge Academies? We talked about things it does to help. It can lower the cost of tuition. It can provide opportunities, but what is it? I think that's a question. I mean, and I'm asking that right now. I'm not exactly sure. If a member of the public comes up to me and says, you know, y'all got this Bridge Academies. I think I generally understand. I think it's providing career and college and technical opportunities. But I was thinking we already did that, kind of. So what is different? What is different about the Bridge Academies that we're not doing, and how can we, when somebody comes up to us and asks, what is Bridge Academies, what do we tell them?
And we can come up with a 10 to 20 second little spill. What it is the bridge from high school to career or college. It gets them prepared for higher education or to be hired into the workforce. That's actually a play on words that we've been playing with.
And we're actually doing placards. We're going to distribute a district-wide version. I mean, the first main thing we have to do is get everyone in the district, teacher standpoint, we got to get all of them on board with the one terminology, one word thing. And we have Chamber of Commerce, Economic Workforce Development. They're all helping us compile these go-to talking points. And basically what career academies are is taking your old vocational education, CTE, and bringing it into the academic classrooms as well. Instead of having a separate entity of this is CTE, this is academic, combining the two together. So even students that don't come into our building per se to take an individual class, they're going to get the same experience in their academic setting as the students that come to our building get as well. The hands-on, the employability skill talk, the resumes, all of that, because we were seeing only certain students were getting all that. So now we want all students to experience that. Because so even students going to college right out of high school, going to a four-year university, they're asking for that college career readiness too, not just the academic part. They want them to know about job interviews, how to dress for success, how important social media is. Because y'all know as business people and community people, social media is a big deal. And when we've gone out as a district and talked to industry and business, one of the main things they say with employees is, one of the first things we do before they come in for an interview is we've already looked at their social media and seen what they post and what they look at. And because that's important to them, because they're going to be a representative for them. So we want to educate our kids with that. And so we're trying to create those points. We're going to get it out in the community too. We're looking at kind of roundtable discussions going out into churches, trying to target specific meetings like the Rotary, all of that before we hit this next year. We're going to do that this year throughout the whole school year. Going out.
So when are you all expecting to roll this out?
Well, it's rolled out now to a certain degree, because what you're looking at is a third-year program where we're actually connecting the child to the employment opportunity, and they're getting internships. And something that materialized just over this summer is McDonald's was looking for management trainees. So there's now a McDonald's Academy, and we didn't leave it exclusively to our school district. It's been opened up to the other school districts in Jackson County through the Desher family. We recently connected with Ingalls for our welding department, but we're about to move into carpentry as well. We're going to connect those carpenters so those kids can go into a third-year apprenticeship while they're still in high school, gain that knowledge of hands-on, learn by doing experience. And that's the difference in creating the academy concept, is actually placing these students in their third year into the actual workplace environment. And we built all these connections, the collegiate academy, through the junior college. Everything that we do is unique, and we're already doing the welding program. We're already doing the students who graduate from high school, and it just continues to expand. But just like we have the biliteracy seal on our diplomas now for the students who are capable of doing English and Spanish, and they get a seal for that. Well, these academies are the same thing. It's a label that goes with them, and mixed in with that is our ACT work keys that all of our students are, and that's going to be industry driven. We became a ACT work ready community just recently at the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. We were down there for that. We were able to speak at that event. But now it's looking at a dual pathway where you've got your ACT college bound and you've got your ACT work keys industry workforce family. And so there's two true pathways that didn't exist in Mississippi. And the thing for us is we get to be on this side of the state, the first people to really implement that in the Jackson County area. Gulfport's done it in Harrison County, and there's a few other spots throughout the states that's doing it as well. The advantage we have is we already offer more vocational programs than anyone else in the state, and the sky's the limit for the technology that we can put out there as a school district. So it's just a cool opportunity for young people, and we're trying to engage that millennial mindset of actually, why am I doing this? Well, here's why. And maybe you don't like it, so don't go invest 3 years of college and then decide, well, gee, I really don't like this aspect of what I'm doing. We're getting that hands-on experience while children are still in school.
Can a student opt out? Can a student say, you know what, I just want to do the traditional course, not do the Bridge Academies, take a couple AP classes?
We had originally looked at wall-to-wall, and then I said if we go wall-to-wall, it's not practical for all students. There are students that are going to choose different pathways that want the traditional education route. And so we'll be doing it right now. We're building our numbers, but we actually have a breakdown of the 4 academies and how many students are engaged at their 3rd year there, and that will continue to expand over time. And it's going to be more of a choice opportunity for students. It will be a choice within our public school system.
With regard to the logo, whose idea was the logo itself?
So the students came up with what they wanted. Hummingbird created 4 different logos for them to choose from based on the student input, and then they selected it from there.
Okay. And I guess my only hesitation was, it's just, you don't usually see logos that have that many colors. I mean, usually a logo has 1 or 2 colors, like Hummingbird's logo has 1 color. And almost probably 100% of their clients have 1 or 2 colors. And so while I very much appreciate the student-led, student-driven effort, our students are not educated in branding and logoing yet as to, and so I have a little hesitation about so many colors in there. It's just, it requires a whole bunch of explanation, and it doesn't look like a bridge necessarily to me, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess that's just a little bit of my hesitation. I very much appreciate, and I think it was great intentions to include the students. I don't know. I mean, Ms. England may have more, you have more expertise than I do. What do you think about branding? I mean, is it fair to say that most brands are 1 or 2 colors, and that this is outside the norm?
Well, in this instance, though, those 4 colors represent the 4 different pathways that they're talking about, the 4 different academies. So I think if you didn't have those 4 colors, then people would get lost in the colors of each one of the different academies. I think those 4 colors are very important.
It was important for students in STEM, like me as a counselor. I go to both schools regularly because I'm the only CTE counselor in the district. And it was important for students because our building, I consider the CCTI a mini career academy. I mean, just a immersion of 2 high schools in 1 building. And it's been unbelievable. I've been there 19 years. And students, when they go back to their building or to their schools, they talk. And they wanted that in their school. They're still going to be their individuality, they're still going to be, but they wanted that during school to see, when I go into GHS and see my HHS students, they wanted people to know we're in HHS. And that's why they talked about name badges, and if they had a color specific for their HHS academy, I could go into GHS and see the badge for that student and say, that's an HHS student, or that's a STEM student. Go to PHS and it's the same. There's not 1 logo, but 2 different colored shirts. They're the same. And that was important to the students. They wanted this to be a separate thing besides the school spirit shirts. They wanted this to be something special for them that they could wear. And going forward, we're looking at the logo on professional wear, on coveralls for the kids that are in labs, on the culinary chef coats, and just taking this, as far as we can, and that was just important for the students, and that was where the colors came in, was that they wanted their separate logo for their each individual academy.
Yeah, I understand, I guess.
They just tried to bring them all together.
Right, in 1, and I guess that's where I don't know if that's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to tell the story with 4 colors in the main logo. It's not necessary. necessarily to me, to go against the long-standing branding rule that you typically only have one color or two colors at most in a brand. It's just very rare that you see that. So that's my suggestion. But I appreciate that explanation. Thank you. And I think it's well-intentioned, and y'all have done a great job in everything y'all have done in trying to get this together. And I know there's been a lot of work, and thank you for that.
Whereas, I may not see the need for the colors. These are the students. They need to buy into this, and these are the things they want. And if they feel like they have a little input into it, then they're going to buy into it a little bit better. And as far as, what this does, talking about people, parents saving money on tuition and such, as far as going to college and then deciding that they don't want to go. I taught an apprentice class in Wrangell for over 30 years. And it got to where, it didn't start out that way, but it got to where probably the last 10 to 12 years that I taught it, that there were probably in excess of 50% of these students, apprentices, that had gone off to college maybe a year or two, whatever, and say, hey, this is not for me. I want something else. So I just think back about all these students. I don't want to say their time was wasted because it wasn't, but then again, it might have been a better spent in getting something that would apply more to what they were going to end up doing as a career.
Thank you.
I like the changes in the video. That was the comment I made the first time I saw it. It's crystal clear to me the concept and what we were trying to do, but putting myself in the position of someone who had never seen it before, I couldn't really comprehend that. Now seeing the changes we've made with the branding as well as through the video, I can piece it together. I do think up front with Brooks or the piece that you had explaining what led to the implementation, either one of those two would be great segues into that elevator pitch of, so this is what we did about it, right? So this is how we're bridging that gap. This is what it is. Kind of what Mr. McNeil was asking for, that little pitch. I think either one of those two places would be a great segue for that, and we'd be ready to go.
Anyone else?
I like the new photos of Bridge, one that are more aesthetically pleasing.
That did look good. Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Reed and Ms. D'Angelo, very, very well. Okay, next, for topic 1D, presentation of mathematics director.
Yes, Mr. Freeman is here to give a brief presentation about the athletic program and what we're working on.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about good things we got going on in the athletic department, things that we've done and things that we're doing in the future. As we look through this presentation, take in mind that a lot of these buildings were built and then nothing was done to them until we kind of stepped in and started improving them for our students. So if we'll start, the basketball court over at Trail Live, just having something where they have an area that they could go play. This is what they had, and we roll on through. This is the one that we just opened. I mean, it's really, really nice. It not only gives them a PE gym, but it also allows our high school teams and middle school teams or whatever to be able to go and have another place that we can go practice. Because when you're talking about 7th and 8th grade basketball, 9th grade basketball, JV and varsity teams and girls and boys, that's a lot of teams that we're trying to figure out spacing and where we can put them. This gives us another avenue to do that. At Calmer Middle School gym, as you see on the left, that was what the court looked like years ago before we came in, and it was tile on concrete. I mean, a kid fell down, I mean, he's going to bust his knee up, knock his teeth out, whatever. We came in and put a poured floor on there, and now it's something that's really durable, and it's a lot safer as well. Dressing rooms at Calmer, again, just trying to upgrade and give our kids something nice to have. Just improving the color schemes and all those kinds of things that we do. Pascagoula softball. Those buildings have been there for a long time, but we're having to update them, paint them, kind of dress them up a little bit, and that's what we've kind of done with that. That's the new dugouts that we just had done for last season, I think, and Matt knows from being in there that that is something that's been needing for a long time, and we're just glad to have the opportunity to be able to put those things up. For years, from the time they had softball over here, there was never a place for the girls to dress. They either dressed in their car or in the bathrooms. And that's just the fact. That's the way it was. And it was a shame to have that. Now they have a very nice field house that's as nice as anyone has anywhere. Batting facility, batting cages that are outstanding. So when you look at the facility upgrade for softball, it's been magnificent. This is a new scoreboard that will be installed before we negotiated for that, and that's going to be installed before this season, softball season. If you look at the baseball, we put in the center section there with the chair backs, new press box, kind of fixed it up, and it really added a different look to that park as well. The baseball field house, painted it and kind of fixed it up, tried to dress it up the best we can with new doors on there. On the football field and the track, we've redone the track now twice. The first time it was unusable. So the track lasts between 8 and 10 years. So what we've done with that is we redid it, and then we had track meets and used it. And when you look at how many teams we have used it, because we have our 2 middle schools and 2 high schools, boys and girls teams that are using it daily during that track season. So that's a lot of spike marks and things like that. It just wears it down over the course of the year. But we have redid it. It looks nice. It's as good as anybody has anywhere. When you look at what Pascagoula baseball had as far as a concession stand, and this is kind of a picture that was taken after they started the demolition, but I mean, when you look at that compared to what we have now, it's just a total upgrade. The Pascagoula football stadium with the chair backs. When we went in and put those chair backs in, and Ryan, the architects, did a really good job with it, but there's plenty of spacing in there. So anyone that sits up there understands, hey, we have a lot of room. They're very comfortable, and we encourage people to make sure and get their tickets and be able to use that. Plus, we went in and updated the press box as well. And that's just another picture of that. Then we came in and did the artificial turf. And I think if you talk with any of our coaches at any of our schools, they'll tell you how proud they are of having that turf. And also not only our athletic teams, but our bands and our OTCs and all those people that get a chance to go out there and use it. It doesn't matter rain or shine. The only thing that they can't do is if it's lightning, they've got to get inside. But everything else, they can use that, and they love it, and they appreciate it, and they do a good job of helping us keep it in good shape. ADA, as far as being able to access the stadium, things like that, we had to build that in. That was something that was added when we put in the chair backs. The pump house, it was, that was down there behind the stadium, was a kind of an eyesore. We updated that, and now it looks as good as all the buildings surrounding it. And then you have the Pascagoula football field house that turned out great, sitting in a nice view there on the end zone of the the football field. It's just a really nice setting when you look at that. This is the new scoreboard that we negotiated for Pascagoula football and the Pascagoula Stadium, and it should be installed by Friday. When you look inside the field house, you can see the old weight room on the left as part of the dungeon under the stadium that all the people talked about and you know, that type of thing. And then you have the new, I mean, there's just absolutely no comparison when you look at the flooring that we put in. Like I say, Brian and the architects did a great job of giving us some ideas on some of that stuff. Bathroom renovation there in the field house as well. The dressing rooms, from the old wood lockers that have been through a lot of hurricanes and water and all that kind of thing to what we have now. It's just, I think our kids really appreciate it. The arch and the new ticket box. I mean, I don't know how many of you remember the little blue ticket box we had out there. You know, it served its purpose. But when we got a chance to upgrade and change it up, I mean, I think now with the arch and the new ticket box, again, it's as fine as anybody has anywhere. About 10 years ago, we came in because our high school gyms had poured floors, kind of like we have at the middle schools now. But a lot of our teams did not, I mean, that's just bad on high school kids when they really do a lot of practicing and stuff on their knees and things like this. So we came in, made a decision to come in with wood floors. And we did, came in, color schemed it, it looked nice. But over time, again, it's time to have it sanded down and kind of put the colors in it. So this is what it looks like now. This was done this summer with the new color schemes and also with the new bleachers behind. Now, I know that all of you have been in the gyms and you see those wood bleachers and how after sitting there for a while, you kind of, you don't know if you're in pain or what's going on, but it's really not always comfortable. Well, I think these are going to be a little more comfortable, plus the color schemes of the PHS on this particular instance here. We needed some tennis courts, so just to have a place for the district to play. And when you look at it, the tennis courts are at South Field, which is kind of like a little place that we had some space, and it worked out really well to be able to put these there. At South Field, where we're talking about also is, we had a nice field. We needed to have a place for concessions and restrooms that were high quality, like we try to make sure that we have in our district. And that's what we went with there, which is really nice. Those are the stands that we have there. The city of Pascagoula plays a lot of the rec football leagues there, soccer practices there, and we could even have a couple of soccer games there if we needed to. The field house, we went in and upgraded that, went in and kind of gutted it out and put a paint color on it, scheme and all that kind of thing, and added the scoreboard. Singing River Academy is just like over here at Trent Lott. Again, they needed a place for PE. We needed a place to have extra room to practice basketball and those type things. Whether you're talking about flag corps, you're talking about cheerleading, all those things needed a place to be. And so now, again, we've got an extra place, which is wonderful for us. When you look at Gautier Middle School, when we went in and we upgraded that, again, with the color schemes and the walls and things like this, what they did is we ended up having to put the bleachers in, the lockers in a little earlier than fixing everything else up, because the lockers they had in there were terrible. They were terrible. They had some lockers, some of them shut, some of them didn't, this type thing. They had the 2x4 with some nails in there, people would hang their stuff on. I mean, it wasn't something that we needed in a district like ours, I didn't think. So We went in and got the lockers, and then we went and done that. This is a picture of their floor, just like we did Commerce. What they had was, they had the tile on the concrete, went in and did the poured floor, which turned out really nice. Then we have Gautier High School football stadium. And Mr. Irving can tell you, when he was in high school, he never played a home game. Every game was on the road. And now, what we've done is been able to come in and build something that's really, really nice over there. When you look at the bleachers with the chair backs, also we've got band bleachers there in the end zones, which works out pretty well. And with the field house there like it is, again, it's just a really nice setting. We recently added the visitor concession stand and restrooms, and also soccer dressing room over there. When we have a lot of our opponents come in and see that area, they say, man, this is almost like a perfect high school feel right here, with the look of it, about the right size, not really huge, with the facilities that we have. And also on the sides, we have some practice track lanes that they can practice that on. Don't have any turns or anything in it, but you can practice sprints, you can time yourselves in 40s and things like this. That's Gautier High School's weight room. Again, what they had, and the equipment and everything they had, they did the best they could do, just like Pascagoula did the best they could do. But now when you look at what they have, it's just, it's really amazing. Same thing with the locker room. When you look at the locker room now compared to what they have, totally upgraded. This is Gautier High School's gym. Again, come in, sanded it down, take it to the wood, put a different color scheme on it, new bleachers, rather than having, as you can see, these pictures, if you'll see on your side goals up there, you have the wood-looking little backboards, but now all those are also fiberglass backboards. So we have totally transformed that gym as well. When you look at, again, the baseball and softball at Gautier is in the same situation as Pascagoula softball was. They didn't have any place to dress, didn't have, cars or their restrooms. And so now they have a really nice facility with the batting cages out here as well. And there's their bleachers with the chair backs. That's Gautier's softball dugouts that we put in. It's just really, really nice. And that's the chair backs for the softball. And this is the scoreboard that we're going to be installing at Gautier softball before this season. Now, when you look at all those things, I just think it would be reminiscent of me not to say this. For that to happen, for all those things to happen, I think there's a couple of things you got to have. You got to have a superintendent that's visionary, which we have, and a board that is really strong and committed to doing what's best for kids. Because the thing that the board has approved and you've approved, when you look at compared to what they had, it's amazing what our kids have now than what they ever had before. But when you look at the next thing here, this school district is the first school district on the coast to provide concussion pre-screening tests. Now, as all of us know, the concussions are big deals. But what we did is, before we started the testing, and what most people still end up having to do is, somebody gets a concussion or they think it's a concussion, they don't know where the baseline was to where the kid needs to get before he should be able to re-enter into play and participate. So from a safety standpoint, this is making sense for us to do this, where we pre-test all of our kids, all of our athletes, to where we have a baseline. And then if we suspect one has a concussion, the trainer takes care of it, and then we work to retest them to where they get to where they can participate again. New sports added at the high school. We've added swimming at PHS, bowling at GHS. We have lacrosse as a club sport. On the middle school level, we've added volleyball, girls and boys soccer, baseball, and softball at the middle school level, which again, I think that maybe in the past, the city leagues and rec leagues and things like this would kind of try to help prepare those kids to play. But now I think it's important that we try to get these kids in our program to where we can kind of teach them and encourage them to play and be as good as they can be. The district support for athletic programs, I think we have state-of-the-art facilities. We provide funding for our coaches to go to coaches clinics wherever they want to go. We've had groups of coaches that went to Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Louisiana Lafayette, Atlanta, Texas, wherever our coaches want to go to try to pick up something or whatever, something that they're going to use to help them be a better coach and to do a better job for our kids. We provide that opportunity for them. We've added assistant coaches for our middle school teams, and I think that is huge. That is huge. As we added those sports, you have to kind of bite a little bit of the elephant off at a time. You can't eat it all at one time. So what we did is we added those sports, and then we've been able to add assistants this year, and I appreciate y'all for voting to do that. We provide all the tools, resources, and equipment our coaches need to be successful. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. We provide coaches with extra supplements to train our athletes during the summer. Most times, that's just something that's expected to do. It's not a whole bunch, but we do give them extra supplement for working our kids out in the summer. Because, as most of you know, athletics is a 12-month year job right now. So, goals and expectations for all of our athletic teams. Scholar athlete team, I want each one of our teams to be a scholar athlete team. Have a winning season. Make the playoffs if you're a high school team. And each athlete shows a significant improvement in skill level. Those are the ones that we went over with our coaches in our district-wide coaches meeting, because those are the things that I think are important. Because with all the facilities and all this kind of thing, it always comes down to having success and being successful. That's just that's the way it is. So, okay. Any questions about anything?
You got a, Dave, go ahead.
I got a couple.
Go ahead.
I got a couple. That was helpful, very helpful, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the work that went into that and all the work that's gone into a lot of things in athletics over the last number of years. I commend y'all on the facilities that y'all have done. I agree, we have excellent facilities, state-of-the-art facilities. Some of the best facilities in the state, if not the best. I think we're going to be the largest school district or Pascagoula actually is going to be the largest high school in 5A this year, I think. Mm-hmm. And Gautier's, I think, has a pretty large attendance at 5A too. It's not the largest. There's something called, in the Clay Ledger, called the All Sports Award. I know that's not a goal, but I just wanted to mention it. I've heard people talk about it in the community. It'd be nice to strive for it. You know, I think that how they calculate that award in terms of how many wins and losses and all that type of stuff. I don't want to, you know, I really appreciate the presentation. I think it would be helpful if I just was able to see the wins and losses over the last 5 years of the programs. It doesn't have to be a board presentation. It can just be shot to us or something. I'm just interested to see how where the wins and losses are trending, and somewhat what championships we've won over the last 5 years, and where that's trending, where that's going. I saw we started new sports, and that's great. I didn't know we had a swimming team, quite frankly, at Pascagoula High School. I see where archery is getting popular, and so are there goals to start any new sports?
Yeah, we always try to, and that's when we tried to start bowling, and it was just too far for Pascagoula to go over here, so we started swimming over here. But we always try to involve as many kids as we can. I mean, that's our goal. The thing about archery, and we have looked at it, it's just having a place that you could go practice and this type of thing, because there's a certain area that you have to have, and I don't know the time frame it is. Kind of starts November-ish and goes through April, I believe, or something like that. It's just kind of goes through the basketball, where you have your indoor facilities are already kind of taken out with basketball and things like this. But it is something absolutely that we look at, and I think it would be something that we could get kids involved in that maybe aren't involved in a lot of other things.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if a goal of increasing participation in some of our current sports would be helpful or not. Is there a way, in terms of school spirit and how all that plays into it, is there a way to measure fan attendance? Is that something we keep track of, or even is it measurable?
We kind of keep up with our number of tickets we sell and things like that. But,
okay.
You know, but that's kind of misleading a little bit, in that if we play West Point and Ocean Springs both come to Pascagoula in a year, that's going to be bigger than if it's
right.
Harrison Central and, you know, St. Martin or something. So,
sure.
But that's one thing that we could kind of check and see.
Yeah, I'd be curious just to see how that's trending, and if there's anything, and a lot of this stuff we can just talk offline about it, because there's no reason.
Yeah,
there's no reason to get into all these specifics. So I say let's just move on. But there's just some other things I think. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. And I'd like to. We can talk offline about
okay. Any other comments?
Real quick, not too long. Thanks a lot. A lot of parents don't know, especially around the gymnasiums, you cannot refute the statistics and the data around meniscus and Achilles injuries with these young people, with the type of surfaces that they work on daily. And so the high school especially, and even now with the work that's been done at the middle school, no doubt in my mind what that's done for injury prevention. And not to get back offline, but I can tell you that football in Gautier is the highest attendance I've ever seen before this past year. The past 2 seasons, really, it's been going up. The kids take a lot of pride in the facilities they have there now on both sides of the river. I'm not just speaking to Gautier. The locker rooms especially, it's funny. When they make those varsity teams and they've got that spot, those young people will fight you over that locker. That is theirs, and it's nice, and it's their stuff, and they take care of it. They really do. They appreciate it. So thank you all for the good work.
Any other comment? Okay, thank you, Mr. Freeman. Very good presentation. Mr. Dobbs.
Just want to say, Board, I hope that you're hearing through our presentations. When you guys say things or have a comment, we're trying to get everything written down that you ask us, so we can give you an answer for it. Sometimes it's not as timely as we'd like it to be, but any feedback that you can give us on information that we send you, or questions about something that may be left out of a report that I give you, please don't hesitate to contact me about that so I can get you the information you need.
Okay, now for the parents that we have out there, I kind of wanted y'all to listen to these presentations. They're very informative and seeing what's going on in our district, and I know that the parents out there, you're in attendance tonight, because you're asking for accepting board policy as far as where to place your child. Well, good news. Everyone's been approved, so if you want to stay and listen to us some more, you can, but if you want to get up and go, you can. Not trying to run you off, but I know you got kids at home, that's why you're here, you got kids at home.
Nice seeing y'all. I'll be up to some more meetings soon, but thank y'all very much, man.
Just thought good parents listen to all the good things we did. Okay. Mr. Dolphin, do we have any one signed up to speak at the meeting?
We do not.
Okay. So the next item is 2A, the consent agenda.
We're grouping several routine items into a single consent agenda. Any board member may request that any or all items on the consent agenda be removed and considered as a separate item. No such request is made. All items on the consent agenda may be approved by a single action motion, second vote of the Board of Trustees. Consent agenda for August 12, 2019. Request for approval of consent agenda items. Request for approval of board meeting minutes, July 8, 2019, July 29, 2019. Request for approval of personnel resignations recommendations. Request for approval of the docket of claims for July 2019. Request for approval of enrollment of in-district students whose parents are employees. Request for enrollment of out-of-district students whose parents are employees. Request for approval of release of students. Request for use of facilities. Request for approval of donations and grants. Request for approval of advertising accept bids to sell inflatable slide. Request for approval of single source purchase. Request for approval of single source purchase. Request for approval of summer training supplements. Request for approval of removal of equipment for an inventory and disposal. Request for approval of 2019-2020 extra duty supplements. Request for approval of 2019-2020 athletic supplements. Request for approval of interagency agreement between Pascagoula-Gautier School District and Single River Services. Request for approval to advertise for proposals to provide trainer professional development for teachers and other district personnel in sheltered English instruction. Request for approval of Special Education Department's cooperative agreement between Pascagoula-Gautier School District and Jackson County Civic Action Committee Incorporated. Request for approval of revision of policy JQO for exchange students. Request for approval to reject the purchase for benchmark assessments designed to product feedback and measure academic progress of students from Title I funds. Request for approval of construction change directives. Request for approval of substantial completions. Request for approval of applications and certificates payments. Request for approval of proposed fundraising activity. Request to approve expert citizen licensure. Request for overnight field trip, DHS choir. Request for 1-year license for veteran teachers. Request for approval of 2019-20 salary schedules. Personnel matter. Request for approval of salary. Request for approval to purchase 2 school buses. Request for approval of prospective non-traditional special non-renewable license.
Would any member like to pull out anything of the consent agenda to act on separately or ask any questions about it right now? Hearing none, need a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Irving to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion on the item? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Mr. Adolph, item 4A under the action.
After discussions during the public hearing, the ad valorem request for operations will be decreased by $352,899, which will make the district's request the same as the prior year budget. The expenditures presented in the public hearing will also decrease by $352,899. The decrease will be made in the following areas: instruction, $225,000; 3 teacher units with benefits; support services, $127,899; maintenance replacement vehicles, finance vacancy that will not be filled. On or before the 15th day of August each year, the Board of Trustees shall adopt the budget for the fiscal year commencing on July 1 of each year, as required by Section 3761(9), Mississippi Code 1972 annotated. As recommended, the Board of Trustees approve the attached district-wide budget for FY 2019-2020.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Johnson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Irving. Any discussion on the item?
One quick question. I'm getting better at emailing my questions ahead of time. So, Ms. Grant, thank you for answering all my questions that I had today. One follow-up question: the information that you sent me I recall last meeting that we may not spend all of our budgeted line items and certain things. And then that money goes to a special fund, or does that money go to the discretionary spending fund? Where does the money go that is not spent in a specific line item?
It's added to the fund balance. So or the retained earnings, savings, whatever word, you're familiar with. So whenever, for example, we budget for such a certain amount of students. Okay, our enrollment might be down a little bit, so just say we don't use all the textbook money that we budgeted. And so what happens at the end of the year is you take your revenues and expenses and the excess of the revenues to expenses, which would be your fund balance. We run that, it just carries over into fund balance. And at that point, that's how we're funding the Gautier roof, was through fund balance from the previous years that had just kind of rolled and built because we had not used all the budgeted expenditures.
And I guess more specifically, if money is not budgeted, if money is not spent for a special line out of the budget, there's money left over, it ends up in the special fund or whatever you want to call it, to then take that money out of the special fund and put it, say, on a Gautier roof or any other project, even if it's a $200 project, do y'all have to come in front of us and ask permission, or do you have the discretion to just spend it?
It's in the budget. So what that means is the money that was rolled over from the 18-19 school year, you're approving it in this budget to roll over into new projects. So, for example, like the $200 example, if a principal said, okay, I had $1,000 budgeted in my supply money, I didn't use the full 1,000, I only used 500. Instead, can we use the $500 to buy additional nursing supplies, for example? That might not be something that would come across your desk. It's that minute, it's something that's within the budget already. If it's something large, like you say, okay, originally we budgeted for textbooks, but now we're going to transfer it over to a capital projects account, then yes, that's something that would come in front of you.
Yeah, one quick point. Ms. Green, correct me if I'm wrong, because I drive Ms. Green crazy. And Ms. Chenoweth before her every year about when we close out the end of the year. And we're not at the complete closeout now as far as knowing what that final number that's been returned to the budget is, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, because if we accumulate over the year, we don't spend the money, we wouldn't even know that until we get to the final closeout and we pay all the bills, because she can't generate that number for us. And then that money is typically returned back to fund balance, and then we come to you guys for the special projects list that we build every year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's typically how we do that.
And like a more common example, if we would budget X dollars for a project, and Y amount of that would be contingency for some a large amount of dirt work, because we don't know what this site looks like, right? And then we get in there and we find out that we don't have to expend those dollars anymore. So we would get that, we either would not expend, get that money back, and then at that point in time, sure, there may be somewhere later in the year we want to allocate those funds, but that indeed does come before us one at a time and say, hey, FYI, we had $60,000 that we didn't have to spend on X project. We didn't think that we would get to this year, but it's on the front of the list for next year. These dollars will cover that. Can we go ahead and put that money towards here? And yeah, we would have say on where those excess dollars go.
Well, and expand a little bit on what Mr. Randolph said about the closeout. To get technical for a second, we are accrual-based accounting, which means that for 60 days after our fiscal year end, we're still accruing back into, when it comes to expenses, if it was we might pay a bill in August, but it was for something that happened in the prior year. So that's the kind of lag in time. Same thing with revenue. We're still getting reimbursement for things that happened in the prior fiscal year. So that's the kind of lag time that October 15th is technically the deadline for the state that we have to submit our prior year or fiscal year data. So that's why it takes a little while for us to completely close out, because we're still making sure we have everything in the correct fiscal year.
Understood. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. Okay, item 4B.
The amount being requested for district maintenance operations for the FY 2019-2020 is $48,241,957. Board of Trustees at the April 10th, 2017 board meeting adopted a resolution which authorized the district to enter to a loan and issue limited tax promissory note. The principal and interest of the note is paid through a 3 mil debt service tax levy. The district request for debt service for the 3 mil note for FY 1920 is $2,679,968. The Board of Trustees at the June 26, 2018 meeting adopted a resolution declaring a shortfall in local revenues and stated the intention to issue a promissory note. At the July 12, 2018 board meeting, the board accepted the bid from Community Bank. The district's request for debt services for the shortfall note of FY 2019-20 is $1,279,721.25. As recommended, the Board of Trustees adopt the attached resolution order to the City of Pascagoula to enumerate the dollar amount for budget requirements and the Roaring Levy 2019-20 school year as follows. District maintenance, $48,241,957. Debt service, 3 mil note, $2,679,968, and shortfall note, $1,279,721.25, for a total of $52,201,646.25.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Johnson. Seconded by Mr. Irvin. Any discussion on the item? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Pascagoula-Gautier School District would like to move forward with the branding and implementation of the Bridge Academy. The district has employed Hummingbird to develop the Bridge Academy logo based on the collective input from students, faculty, and administrators. It's recommended the Board of Trustees approve the Bridge Academy's logo as presented to be used to market the academies and begin the branding process.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Johnson. Have a second. Second by Mr. Irvin. Any discussion on the item? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
I'm a vote nay.
What's that?
I'm a vote nay.
Oh, okay,
So
motion
it's 4-1.
carried 4-1. Okay, item 4D.
The Board of Trustees requested a policy on graduation exercises, IHFC, attaches proposed policy developed by the administration. Since this is a new policy recommendation rather than a revision, it requires 2 readings, therefore it is submitted as a study item at this time. Recommendation for approval will be made at the next regularly scheduled board meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Okay, we've got an opportunity to read that. Does any board member have any comments or questions on that particular one? That's something Mr. Johnson brought up. That's very good. Okay, well, we'll go to 4B.
First reading of policy GBRIAD, bereavement leave. Board of Trustees requests a policy on bereavement leave. GBRIAD attaches proposed policy developed by the administration. Since this is a new policy recommendation rather than a revision, it requires 2 readings. Therefore, it is submitted as a study item at this time. Recommendation for approval made at the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Yeah. An opportunity to read that. Do we have any comments or questions? I know I have one. I'll start off with mine. I really would have liked to have seen brother-in-law or sister-in-law there. Like if my sister, if I was still working, of course, and my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, had passed away, well, certainly I would not. I said, well, I'm going to work today. I'll let my sister grieve by herself. So I think we need at least 1 day for that brother-in-law or sister-in-law. And I don't see that in there. Any comments from anyone else?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is the board in agreement to the policy as it stands now? Do you have any issue with approving that policy in the future? Would anyone in the board like to make a recommendation that we would allow 1 day for the brother-in-law or sister-in-law as part of that.
I wouldn't have an issue with it. I think, however, we needed to word it, Kelly, and in my opinion, you could put in-law at the end of what you covered right there, and if it fits in that bill, make it a one-day ordeal. I'm all right with that too. It'd be the same in my mind. Mother-in-law.
That, absolutely,
father-in-law.
when you said in-law, that made me think.
That's what I say. Take what you got right there, put in-law, make it one, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
And it just, actually, it says, it's not gonna say they're gonna automatically give you 3 days. You can just have a maximum of 3 days. That's right. I would be okay with it, if we added, in-law.
Okay, so it's brother-in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, sister-in-law.
Yeah, how you got it listed out there in the first paragraph where you're describing the days, if you know, yeah. Which, right. That immediate family, in-law, one day, I'd be fine with.
I just can't think of anybody who would not go to mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, or sister-in-law's funeral, unless they were at odds with them.
I appreciate the work on that policy. I know that was one of the things we talked about at great length, was just how specific and detailed this policy has to be to ensure that it does not get abused, that we protect the local level administrators and their enforcement of the policy. So yeah, I understand why we've written it this way. I think that one small addition and we're here.
Is everyone okay with that one addition? Would you like it? Or is it any other way?
It's just one day.
Well, I would say at least 1 day, and that would be up to the, I guess, it says a maximum of 3 days, but I'm okay with just the 1 day. That
Yeah, for an in-law. Right. I think that's, 1 day for an in-law.
Right. Okay. So, y'all gonna take care of that, Mr. Adolph?
Yes, Mr. Sessoms, you got it? Yes. Just want to make sure we get it written legally correctly.
And is that going to be an issue, or can we?
I just didn't know why you wanted to distinguish the in-laws and not give them the maximum of 3 days as
Well,
well.
the thing that automatically comes to mind for me is typically when somebody's in-law passes away, they live in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you're going to be driving with your wife and husband, and they're going to take the days. And
Well, let's just go with, that would be y'all's discretion.
Yeah.
If they live right here in town, they get 1 day, and you know if they live out of town, let's leave that up to y'all.
As long as, if you guys as administrators are okay with making the same rules applicable, I'm great with it.
I am too.
And then it's at the building level, their more intimate knowledge of that employee and the family situation, what days they're gonna be granted at what time. I'm fine with that as well. I was just trying to make sure that we at least specifically spelled out something, that we didn't handcuff them out of it.
Right, and I didn't really think about in-laws, mother-in-laws and such living so far away, but you're absolutely correct in that let's just have a maximum of 3 days, and it's up to y'all's discretion.
well, I'm gonna say this for the attorneys and people who work with attorneys in the room. Subjectivity creates liability. And when we're using discretion, it creates
3 days is 3 days.
it's gotta be an absolute, one way or the other, and that way we.
Well,
protect our
but
people.
you got on there a maximum. To me, that left it open
Right, but then.
to where it could be 1, 2, or 3.
Then you start factoring in
Hey,
people making different
if you're okay
decisions.
with 3 days, I'm 100% okay with it.
I'm good with just the standard approach.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Whatever way works best for y'all, Mr. Dawkins. We don't want to get y'all in any trouble.
Now that brings up another question to me, and I'm sorry, Kelly, how we're supposed to, how we would do this if we do make that addition, do we want to cap the maximum amount per year? Because it's expanded at that point in time, a lot larger. So it's saying 3 days for that immediate death in the family. I mean, I don't know.
My opinion would be not worried about trying to do caps, more just try to stay with that standard, I mean,
Right.
and just go across the board. I mean, kind of like all other industries or whatever, you kind of like standard over not so many permitted a year if you have death in the family, if it's part of what we actually have written up for. So,
Okay. Well, just like I had a niece, 2 sisters passed away in 11 months.
Mhm.
So, you know, certainly I would not go to either one of those.
And those folks also have the ability to take leave if they choose to, if they have to be out. So it doesn't match up perfectly.
Okay, so we won't have a cap on it? Is that correct?
that's my opinion.
Well,
We can always come back and revise it.
yeah, if we see that it's been taken advantage of,
Being
we're
abused,
right.
that's my only concern, and we'll bring it back and look at revision if we find that people are attempting to.
Yeah, we can track first-year data and come back and say, okay, here's where we made a mistake, or most people have enough integrity, they're gonna do the right thing. I believe more people have integrity than don't.
You're correct. Okay, on the informational reports, we're looking at the vandalism now. We had $280 at South Concession. That seems to be one of our, biggest areas for vandalism in that area. We seem to every now and then get one. Of course, overall, our vandalism is, when I say great, our totals that we do not recoup are great. We just do not have that much for the number of facilities that we have. Best I can remember, what did it say, we had 39 different facilities. And, of course, for that, you would expect a much larger number of vandalism, I would think. Any comment by any other member of vandalism? Okay, next we'll come with Weber and Ryan's favorite, the construction update. Okay, any board member have any questions for Ryan or Mr. Parker?
Do you feel like we have our quality concerns addressed?
It's on the PAC. Yeah, they've started working on it today, actually. So it's going to be about a month process, they say. So we'll know better. But yeah, it's been on there way too long.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
Yeah, I called him outside before we got to do it.
I like roughing what they're public.
it's been on their
I figured somebody would, so I did.
It's on their meeting minutes every time, and their agenda. I make them put it on there. I'm like, look, it's going away. So
Right.
let's just talk about it.
Yep.
They just have to address it.
Sure.
So.
Any other questions for Mr. Parker or Ryan?
I don't know if this falls under the construction, but on the Trent Lot Gym, are we still gonna put some type of naming
We are.
there?
Yeah, we're gonna try to do a ceremony. Once we get clear, we've got, the destination graduation rally Thursday night at Gautier High, then we'll have the destination graduation rally for PHS, and then we have all these open houses, and then once we get a little clear space in October, probably at that time, we'll do a naming ceremony there. And really and truly, we could actually do it as part of a board meeting, walk over, do the ceremony, have the families there, and get the plaque for each of the families, and have a little cake or something, and like a little reception beforehand. But yeah, that's on the, we're gonna get to it, it's just getting through these first 2 months of school.
Yeah, we could, it would probably be, what do the members think about, like a 5:30 start, 5:30 to 6, have the dedication, and we might run a little late, get back over here. But what do y'all think?
We'll
about
find a date in the next board meeting and see if it, and we'll look at it as a board meeting day.
Okay.
And that way, you're already locked in for that day, just see if we can get here a little early.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Costa. Any other comments or questions?
On the Performing Arts Center, are we currently over budget? We're on budget? Okay, do you expect us to stay on budget through the end of the project? Thank you.
And let me just say, the Performing Arts Center, I had one of our dance studio directors, I took her on a tour, Miss Busby. And my big concern with taking our dance studio ladies in is do we get the stage right? And she was very pleased with the space and, for the stage in order to do the show. We talked about the fly-in, issue of having half flies and the projection screen where we could actually throw a background up. But she said that wasn't as big a deal to her as having the space available. And she also said that the quality is very important to her because of the production that they put on. But that's something, guys, that's going to be coming to you pretty quickly. I think I referenced it in my 50 goals, that we have to create a new standard for what we rent those facilities for and the amount of people that belong to us who are in there to ensure quality care of our facilities. It is very important, because I want everyone to be able to use them, but there's a standard of care that has to be put in so we can protect that facility. And the Singing River facility as well. We'll be doing some minor upgrades there. But she was very pleased with the aesthetic of the building.
Any other comments? Okay. All right. We need to get approval to close the meeting.
We still have an information. Interlocal agreement with the city of Pascagoula.
Okay, man, it jumped around there, I missed that. Okay. Got it right up here. Okay, we've got monthly financials. Okay, interlocal agreement with the city of Pascagoula Crossing Guard. Actually, I received a letter, of course, Mr. Dawkins as well. And the city is requesting that we once again fund the crossing guards. I would like to know the will of the board.
Are you asking for discussion?
Ask for discussion. What we would like to do, in other words, this is a new year, and we did it last year, and
I thought we had discussed it
last board meeting. Discussed it. I think everybody was a little different.
did we? Okay.
I was thinking it was in
We
the
discussed
site.
the pay of last year, is what came up at the last board meeting.
Okay.
This is reviewing it for the next.
Right, we just need to decide if that's something we want to do.
Is it a line item in the budget right now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's currently budgeted.
Included in our budget.
Right. And how much is that, if you can remind me again?
100,000 in the neighborhood of 100,000.
Looks like they've taken some very active steps to get things fiscally situated, help out that little bit where we can, till we get everything where it needs to be.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
Sure. I'd like to make the motion that for the upcoming year, we continue the interlocal agreement and funding the crossing guards of the city of Pascagoula.
We would have to put that into, move that into the action. We have it under
I'm gonna do it on paper.
Okay,
I'm gonna do it here and then I'll fix it when I'm.
okay. And do I have a second? Second. Motion by Mr. Johnson to approve the agreement with the city of Pascagoula covering Charleston Crossing Guard, seconded by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion on the item? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, none. Motion carried 5-0. And now we're going to 5C, the monthly financials. So we still have a little money left. Anyone have any questions? Mr. Brand, about our finances?
No, I don't even like looking at this month. All of our software bills and everything starts to hit and all that we have to pay one time every year, so I just hit delete on that email. I don't even look at it. It frustrates me, but it is what it is and we have to pay.
But I do thank you for all the information.
Yes.
You have it laid out very well. Okay, items 6A.
This is section L. Is there anything in section L you guys want us to take a look at?
Nothing specific with a revision. Section L, I believe, is the PTO association
Right,
section.
just mainly a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. At the very end of that policy, it says this sentence. It says, staff members shall be encouraged to join the associations and to participate actively in their programs. Is that something we do? Do we encourage our staff to join PTOs? And if,
We don't allow them to hold any office that relates to money in any way, shape, or form.
okay, how do we encourage them? Is there anything specific other than just, hey, you know, you need to join your PTOs?
Most of them are part of the meetings. We usually have 1 or 2 staff members that are part of the PTO meetings where they're planning and those types of things. Most of them will join, whatever the cost is to join.
Okay.
Any other comments about Section L?
And just about tuition in general, we've talked about a tuition policy. Do we have a timeline on when we might be able to get a tuition policy in front of us?
Probably before the first of the year, maybe put something together.
That's what I thought we said, that maybe about the second semester would be available.
Thank you.
All right, now we need approval to close the meeting to return to executive session.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Wilson to close this meeting to return to executive session, seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion on the item? If none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.